Welcome to day 6 of the Modern Day Spiritual Warrior Bootcamp. Today we will be talking about I forgive you for. So let's jump right in. Like normal, I want you to go get that trusty notepad and I want you to get ready to write down some amazing things that will make you feel so uncomfortable and you'll be so grateful for it after you're done writing them down. Like usual, I'd like to have a little bit of conversation first about our topic. Let's talk about that word forgiveness. For people who haven't traveled down some spiritual roads like maybe you have, they may find that word to be a very tough word to swallow. We have all kinds of different misconceptions about what forgiveness is. I know for me, I had someone in my life that I never ever thought that I would forgive for how they had treated me growing up. I thought that if I forgave them, it meant that I was saying everything you did was totally fine and I don't matter. But that wasn't the case at all. I thought that forgiveness was for them, not for me. And it is for the person that I'm forgiving, of course, because we want to be forgiven for the things that we've done, our mistakes, our really bad judgment, times that we've just done things that we wish we could take back. We all want to be forgiven for those things. And some of us find it harder to forgive ourselves than to forgive others. There's all kinds of energy that surrounds this word forgiveness. And depending on where you are on your own personal forgiveness journey, you will think differently about forgiveness than the next person. Like all the rest of the lessons in this spiritual boot camp, we want to remind you that however you do this is right. Just show up as best you can and be in acceptance of wherever you are at. You can do this over and over and over again after this workshop is done, and you will go to a different level over and over and over again. That's the beauty about forgiveness and about doing forgiveness work is it gives you more freedom every single time. And if you're anything like me, at some point you'll reach this place in your forgiveness journey and you'll say, wow, I have arrived, until that next thing comes up that you need to forgive. That's not an easy one. It's a big one. It's a hard one. And like every other place in my spiritual journey, I've found that I've broken through some great barrier in this area only to find that there's another barrier below that, and I get to go deeper and deeper and deeper. Most spiritually mindful people that I know will tell me I am a very forgiving person. I believe every one of them. Forgiveness, I think, could be a lifelong journey for many of us, and that's okay. It doesn't mean that you haven't reached some new level of forgiveness and that you're not supposed to be happy and grateful for where you've landed in your forgiveness journey. It just means that we get to know more and more and more. I've found the more times that I forgive, especially with the harder ones, the more freedom I get from that. And the more love I have for myself, the more love I have for other people. More patience, the more tolerance, the more admiration I have for my fellow human being. Eventually, I hope that I won't have to find patience or tolerance for anyone. My hope is that I'll be able to look at each of them, no matter where they are, and not have to have patience or tolerance. Just complete love. It's gotten better over the years. I'm still growing and I'm still grateful for every time I get to grow. So let's get to that first item of the day. You writing down forgiveness. It's going to be pretty simple. Your assignment is to find someone that you care deeply about who has wounded you or hurt you, whether with their words or their actions or however they have affected you. I want you to write them a forgiveness letter without any blame whatsoever. Just, I forgive you for, and write it all down. You can tell them anything you want to in this letter. It just has to be a pure forgiveness letter for one person, okay? And before I pause, I want you to know that if you're going to do this, I want you to do this complete video in one sitting. I don't want you to take a break. I don't want you to come back to it. I want you to do it in one sitting. So now I'm going to pause it and allow you to write that letter. You might want to do a small meditation before you write it. You might want to pray before you write it, but become clear. A forgiveness letter without blame, only love. Welcome back. So hopefully you have written your forgiveness letter. And if you haven't, you've got to go back and write it before you see this part, because this part is powerful, in my opinion. We'll see how you feel about it. So now I want you to look at that letter, look at the name, dear whatever. I want you to cross out that name, and I want you to write your own name there. Do it right now. Now what I would like you to do, I would like you to read that letter out loud to yourself, because that forgiveness letter was not written to them. It was written to you, from you, by you. I'm going to pause while you do that. Pretty powerful, huh? Most people that do this assignment with me really get something amazing out of it. See, the things that we can't forgive other people for are really us not being able to forgive ourselves for what we've allowed to have happen, or for what we can't let go, or for what we haven't seen as a gift yet. I was severely abused as a child, and then I was abandoned, and then I was betrayed. I was able to write those forgiveness letters and really take a look at the fact that I needed to forgive myself for experiencing that, for my feelings during all of that, and for how I took those situations into my adult life. And it was no longer anyone else abandoning me or betraying me or abusing me. It became me. I took on the role of those who abused me. I may have not done it in exactly the same way, but I did the same kind of things. I harmed myself. I was angry at myself. I trashed my body. I abused myself, and I needed to forgive myself for carrying on that pattern. Once we're victims, eventually we become the villain. If we're victims of emotional trauma, we grow up, we emotionally traumatize ourselves, or choose people who will emotionally traumatize us, or we just refuse to get into relationships or friendships because we're afraid that eventually we will be emotionally traumatized, and we're just too afraid of that hurt. We carry around all this judgment inside, and we just stop engaging, or we over-engage. Isn't it interesting how we bring the patterns of our childhood or our life or our past relationships into our present, and we're constantly looking for a way to make sense of it, figure it out, or heal it? Well, today I'm hoping that you got to heal something, or you got to see something different. After all, that's why we're here, isn't it? Feel free to do this exercise over and over and over again. Feel free to pass this exercise on to anyone you wish, because it can be a very powerful one. Can't wait to see what you guys write about today's experience in the comments below. If you made it through this one, good job. We'll see you tomorrow.